My mother-in-law keeps trash-talking my children's names, so I let her know that her attitude is what's really trash and kicked her out. Both my husband, 30M, and I, 28F, are from Latin America. We moved to the UK shortly after we had our eldest son, 5M. Our daughter, who turns 1 in April, was born here. My mother-in-law, 60-ish F, and my husband's older brother, 37M, neither of whom have met our daughter before, are flying over for her birthday. My brother-in-law wanted to get a hotel room for himself, and since my mother-in-law doesn't speak any English, we decided to have her stay at our place instead of leaving her alone in a foreign country. Years ago, when I was pregnant with my son, my husband and I made the mistake of revealing his name to our families. My mother-in-law spent the following months complaining about it. She would send us lists of name suggestions, look up bad historical figures with the same name as the one we'd chosen, and generally say it was awful. She didn't stop until our son was born and the name was on his birth certificate. So, for my second pregnancy, we decided to keep our daughter's name a secret until after her birth. We figured that not knowing her name until it was unchangeable would prevent my mother-in-law from complaining. We were wrong. Our daughter's name is Cecilia. Minutes after she was born, my mother-in-law called my husband and asked, "You know Cecilia means blind, right?" Almost a year later, she hasn't stopped complaining. If it's not because of the meaning, it's because it's ugly, long, or an old lady name. There have been occasions when my husband sent pictures of her to his family's group chat, and his mom replied with things like, "How cute, too bad her name is Cecilia." It genuinely feels like my daughter is being bullied. Whenever we talk to my mother-in-law, which has been happening less and less lately for this exact reason, she has a new complaint. Until now, the main reason I was able to, tune it out was because she hadn't complained to us in person or in front of our children. But she'll be here in less than 2 weeks, and I'm absolutely certain she'll continue her crusade in our home. I don't want to hear it. I don't want my son to hear it, and I don't want my baby's first birthday to be ruined by grandma's complaining. So a couple of months ago, my husband and I called his mom. We told her she could no longer stay with us and to ask my brother-in-law to help her get a hotel room. We also told her the reasons behind our decision. My mother-in-law cried on the phone and has called us several times since. She either apologizes, calls us dramatic, or accuses us of alienating her from her grandkids. Throughout all this, she continues to insist she has the right to dislike our daughter's name and still hasn't booked a hotel room. My brother-in-law agrees she's being difficult but is upset that we told her she can no longer stay at our place. He's accusing us of forcing an elderly woman to stay alone in a foreign country, even though we're perfectly capable of housing her. He's also mad that after promising for months that my mother-in-law could stay at our house, we're retracting our offer. This whole situation has been exhausting, and I'm starting to worry I might be overreacting. Am I wrong here? Update 3 months later. Hey everyone, it's been a while since I posted, so I want to give you an update. I'll try to be brief. For the next couple of weeks after my first post, my mother-in-law continued her attempts to convince us to let her stay with us, but she still refused to book a hotel room. My husband and I decided to speak with my brother-in-law again. He told us that the main reason he wanted to get a hotel room for himself was to explore the city on his own, but he could understand why we didn't want my mother-in-law to stay with us anymore. Eventually, he agreed to help her get a different room at the hotel where he'd be staying. From what I gather, he also spent the weeks leading up to the visit telling his mother that if she tried complaining about Cecilia's name at any point, he would call a taxi to send her back to the hotel. Cecilia's birthday went off without a hitch, except for the fact that my mother-in-law immediately tried to give her a nickname. For a few hours, she kept calling her Lila. She was doing so behind our backs, and my husband and I didn't realize it until our son came to ask us if Grandma knew Ceci's name. My brother-in-law offered to call the taxi, but we decided to brush it off. Later, my husband pulled my mother-in-law aside and told her that if she ever tried to complain about either of our children again, she wouldn't be allowed to visit us anymore. She behaved herself until she and my brother-in-law flew back home, and we haven't heard any complaints from her since. I'm very satisfied with this outcome. Though I'm still worried she might complain about my kids again in the future, I now know that we have my husband's brother by our side, which will greatly help us navigate our relationship with their mother. Thank you for reassuring me I wasn't overreacting. I wish you all well. Up in the comments. I'm pretty confident things will get better after all this. Their visit went perfectly fine, besides the whole Lila thing, and I think she got the message that she won't get any more chances if she tries to complain again. Also, our son's name is Henrique, we call him Henry.